taken up with Jibreel. Jibreel asked permission to enter. The gatekeeper of the first heaven said, "Who is there?" And he said, "It's me, Jibreel." "Who is with you?" "Muhammad is with me." "Was Muhammad sent for?" All of these questions were asked. And the scholars, they say by this question of the gatekeeper, it doesn't mean was Muhammad sent as a prophet. They obviously already know that Muhammad was sent as a prophet. But what it means is that was Muhammad sent to come up to this level. And obviously Jibreel, he said yes, he was invited. And so the angel said, فَنِعْمَ الْمَجِيءُ جَاءَ, that what a great comer has come. And then we mentioned that once the Prophet ﷺ entered into the first celestial body, he saw a man who was sitting, and upon his right side were aswida, and on his left side were aswida. Aswida refers to souls, right, towards people. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said to Jibreel, "Who are these people?" or "Who is this person?" And Jibreel said, "This is your father Adam, so say salam to him." And so the Prophet ﷺ, he said salam to him, and Adam responded to the salam by saying, "Marhaban bil ibn salih wa nabi salih." Welcome, O my righteous son and righteous prophet. Why? Because everyone is a child of Adam. And then Jibreel, he began to explain to the Prophet ﷺ that these people that are on the right and the left of Adam are nasamu banihi, the souls of his children. And when he looks at those souls that are on his right side, he laughs, because those are the souls of his children that are destined for heaven. And then when he looks to the left side, he sees the souls of his children that are destined for hell. Minhum ahlul jannah wa minhum ahlul nar. From them are the people of Jannah, and from them are the people of Nar. And so as a father, automatically, whenever a father sees something great happen for his son, he becomes happy. When a father sees something bad happen to his son, he becomes sad. And this is the normal situation of most parents, most fathers, unless there's another issue and it's not, if this is not happening this way, then there's something that's going on. Now, when the Prophet ﷺ, he saw Adam here, a natural question comes in the mind, is that where are the prophets? Are the prophets sitting in heaven, or are they in their graves? هَلِ الْأَنْبِيَاء دُفِنُوا فِي السَّمَاءِ أَمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ? Are the prophets buried in their graves, or are they in the heavens? We obviously know that the Anbiya, they have a different form of life, right, in the graves in comparison to ours, right? Our lives are different, their lives are different in the grave. But the question comes is that how are they here in the heavens while also being in their grave at the same time? There's only one person whose body is not buried on this earth, right? One prophet. Anyone know the answer? Isa, right? Isa is the only one whose body and his soul were uplifted to the heavens, right? وَمَا قَتَلُوهُ يَقِينًا بَلْ رَفَعَهُ اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ, that he was not killed with certainty, however he was raised up to God himself. As for the rest of the prophets, their bodies are actually on earth. They're on this place that we call our home, our earth. Now, where are their bodies? We don't know where the bodies of any of the prophets are except the body of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And this is for a particular reason, right? So that people don't go and venerate the bodies of the prophets and do things that they're not supposed to do. Obviously, Muslims can fall into the same exact thing, but our Prophet ﷺ put very severe and strict rules on people when it comes to visiting the grave sites. Even though we're allowed to do it, there are still rules to it. Now, how did the Prophet ﷺ meet these prophets in the heavens when they're buried in their graves? How does that make sense? If you recall, when the Prophet was doing the journey from Al-Isra, right, from Mecca to Jerusalem, one of the things that he saw was Musa alayhi salam praying in his grave. The hadith that we mentioned is مررت على موسى عند الكثيب الأحمر فوجدته قائما في قبره يصلي, that I passed by Musa and he was at this red mountain and that's where his grave was and he was praying in his grave. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said, right? And obviously this is a miracle because the Prophet ﷺ isn't technically, flying over. And to see somebody in their grave is kind of not normal unless Allah shows you that, right? So how can Musa be in his grave and then how can Musa also be in the heavens, right? Musa is on the 6th level, right? It doesn't make any sense. He has to be somewhere. So the scholars, they give a few responses to this. The first response is they say, أن الله شكل أرواح الأنبياء بصور أجسادهم, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took their souls and made it seem as if their souls were their bodies, right? Made their souls seem like they were their bodies, right? The same appearance, right? And so فَأَرْوَاحُهُمْ فِي السَّمَاءِ وَأَجْسَادُهُم فِي الْأَرْضِ, that their souls were in heaven during this encounter, but their bodies were still on earth, right? لكن ظهرت أرواحهم بصورة أجسادهم, but their souls, they were made to appear as if their bodies were there. Why was it made to appear that way? تكريما للنبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, in order to honor the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم. There's a difference between meeting someone's soul and meeting someone's soul and body, right? When you meet someone's soul and body, it's sort of, it's a greater honor for you. So this is one jawab that the scholars give. The second jawab is that they say, and this one seems to be a little bit deeper, they say أن الله أحضر أجساد الأنبياء في تلك اللحظة إلى السماء, that Allah actually removed their bodies and their souls from the graves and brought them to the heavens, right? And this is what, someone might say this is what it seems literally, right? Now the reality is there any way to know? No, there's no way to know. These are just responses or perhaps theories that the scholars have come up with in order to rectify between different aspects of how we understand the body and the soul, right? Now the second thing is that this Adam alayhi salam, he has the souls on his right side, souls on his left side. We know as believers that arwahul mu'minina fil jannati muna'ama, that the souls of the believers are actually in Jannah and they're gaining pleasure. That's our belief as the people of the Sunnah. وَأَرْوَاحُ الْكَافِرِينَ فِي سِجِّينَ, and the souls of the disbelievers are actually in a sijjeen. A sijjeen refers to a pit in the pits of hell, right? And so how is Adam seeing these souls? If these souls are supposed to technically be sort of experiencing a little bit of Jannah, experiencing a little bit of Jahannam, how is Adam having them to his right and to his left? The scholars, they say that just like النَّارُ يُعْرَضُونَ عَلَيْهَا غُدُوًّا وَعَشِيًّا, just like the fire of hell burns the souls in the morning and in the evening, in the same exact way, there's a gap between the morning and the evening. That gap between the morning and the evening of being burnt by the fire, that's the gap when the souls are presented to Adam alayhi salam, right? His children are presented to him. And so this is what we call ardu Adam, like the presentation that's done for Adam alayhi salam. And it just happened that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came at that portion of the time where the souls were being shown to Adam. Now, another question that comes up, why Adam first? Why not any other anbiya? The scholars, they say لِأَنَّهُ الْأَبْ الْأَوَّلِ, because he is the first father. وَصَاحِبُ الْفَضْلِ, and he is a person of virtue. وَالْأَدَبْ, and from adab, and تَبْدَأ بِالْأَبْ, that from adab, from comportment, from the way a Muslim should carry themselves, is to start with the father. And so this is a lesson being taught to the Prophet ﷺ, that always start with your father, right? We placed him here so that you understand. لِأَنَّهُ أَوَّلُ نَبِيٍّ وَأَوَّلُ إِنسَانٍ, he is the first of prophets and he is the first of people. And this is why the response from Adam was marhaban bil ibn salih, that welcome, O my righteous son, wan nabi salih, and righteous prophet. Now, the reality is the prophet is going to be meeting different prophets at different levels. What is the common factor between Adam alayhi salam and the common factor between the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Adam alayhi salam, he left Jannah. He wasn't kicked out, by the way. That's not our belief. We say that he left. He was always destined for this earth, right? Allah said, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. And before creating Adam, he said that I'm going to create a viceroy for earth, a representative for earth. And so unlike the Christians who believe Adam was kicked out, we believe that Adam was always destined to be here in the first place. But Adam, he left Jannah. Now, does anyone want to leave Jannah? No one wants to leave Jannah. But that's the situation. وَالنَّبِيُّ خَرَجَ مِن مَكَّةَ كَارِحًا. Did the Prophet ﷺ want to leave Mecca? No, he didn't want to leave Mecca. And so that's the qismul mushtarak. Could the Prophet ﷺ have stayed in Mecca? Yeah, he could have stayed in Mecca. if he really wanted to. Could Adam have begged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, just let me stay in Jannah? Adam could have begged and he could have probably stayed. But the reality is the situation called for them to leave. And so that's where they have a similar thing. And eventually what happens? Adam, he goes back to his place of residence, which is Jannah. The Prophet ﷺ goes back to his place of residence, which is Mecca. Right? And so in this, there's sort of a hint to the Prophet ﷺ that right now, before the hijrah happens, what's the hint? أَنَّكَ سَتَخْرُجُ مِنْ بَلَدِكَ. That, oh Muhammad, you will now leave your city. This Isra wal Mi'raj is happening right after is the hijrah. Right? You're going to leave Mecca. ثُمَّ تَعُودُ إِلَيْهِ كَمَا عَادَ أَبُوكَ آدَمَ. And you will return back to Mecca just like your father was able to return back to Jannah. And so this is sort of the first thing that happened, right? The first level. Now, we know that the Prophet ﷺ, he's going to see a lot of Anbiya through this journey. But a natural question comes is that we know that there's 124,000 prophets. Why doesn't he meet all of them? Why doesn't he see all of them? Right? Why don't we get all of their names? This is one question. The other thing is that why this specific amount of number and why this specific order? Why Adam first, then Isa and Yahya and so on and so forth, all the way to Ibrahim? Why this order? These are natural questions that come in the mind of a person as they're reading these narrations. And so the scholars, they look at both of these questions. As for the first one, about the number, right? Why the number? There are two you could say, approaches to this. There are two approaches to this. The first approach is of Muhammad bin Yusuf as-Salihi al-Dimashqi, one Syrian scholar in his book Kitab Subal al-Huda wal-Rashad fi Sirati Khair al-Ibad. He says that the scholars are of two opinions. The first opinion is لا ينبغي أن يطلب الإنسان السر في ترتيب الأنبياء وفي هذا العدد المخصوص. That a person should not seek out the secret to why these Anbiya were placed on different levels and why only this specific number. Right? A person should not seek out the secret. Now, be careful. This doesn't mean that there is not a secret. There's still a secret. There's still a wisdom. There's still a hikmah. There's still a sir behind all of this. But the reality is that he's saying that it is better that we understand that all of Allah's actions are done with a reason. All of Allah's words are done with a reason. Allah is free from mistakes. Everything has hikmah. His word, His speech, His selection has hikmah. It's just our intellect cannot reach that hikmah. That's the first approach. Now, obviously, that approach is something that, we are, tend to no, still tell me what's going on. The second approach, and this is the one that we're going to rely on, is that in this gathering, with a specific number of prophets, with a specific order, there is a hikmah that we could grab onto. What is that hikmah? The scholars, they say, معرفة الحكمة في أفعال الله تعالى تسهل عملية طاعة الله وتزيد المعرفة بالله. That the scholars, they say, understanding the wisdom of the actions of God helps you worship God and be obedient to Him. When you understand the why, it's easy to do the what. When you don't understand the why, it's hard to do the what. And it also increases your knowledge of God itself. And so we're going to share the wisdom. But as we share the wisdom of why these Anbiya and this order and all of this stuff, we have to understand that we as believers are not getting this in Quran. We're not necessarily even getting it directly from the Sunnah. It's inferred, right? It's inferred through reasoning, through logic. And so we might say this is a wisdom, right? Maybe a reason, but we won't ever say that 100% this is the reason or the wisdom, right? And so what do they say? They say that the reason why the Prophet ﷺ only met a select number, not an unlimited number, not 124,000 prophets, is for the following logic and reasoning, that a person in this life, when you go visit a person, right, not everybody goes to visit them. For example, let's say somebody disappears from Round Rock for 3 or 4 years. They move to, let's say Medina or something. Then after 4 or 5 years, they decide, hey, we want to move back to the United States. It's time for our kids to go to college. They move back or something like that. Now, is every single person going to go to their house all that wants to go see him? No. One person is going to go, 2 people are going to go, small groups are going to go. When someone passes away, does everybody in the community go all at once? No. A few people go at a time, right? So the family is not overwhelmed, right? That's the normal thing, right? And so in the same exact way, right, the Prophet ﷺ is meeting some prophets. Right? He doesn't have to meet all of the prophets. In fact, not all of the prophets are even going to come to meet him, right? Some people come to visit you after you have a kid. Some people don't come to visit you, right? This is a normal thing, right? Everybody is sort of different, right? And so the Prophet ﷺ, the scholars, they say the aada of this world, that which is normal in this world is also normal over there as well, right? So you only visit a few people. The other thing is, this is the deeper answer. The scholars, they say that if we really reflect on which prophets the Prophet met in these different heavens, each of these prophets has a story which is similar to some element or something that the Prophet ﷺ was going through in his life. And so as we go through these levels, we're going to see that. Like we saw with Adam, what did we see? The element of now you're going to do hijrah, you're going to get kicked out of Mecca. Your father was taken out of Jannah. Your father returned. You're going to return back to Mecca. That's the element that the Prophet ﷺ is being sort of taught. And in each level, there's something being taught to the Prophet ﷺ. For example, in the second level, you were going to see Yahya and Isa. What do we know about Yahya and Isa? We know that Isa, the Jews, or the Bani Israel, they planned to use the Byzantines and the Romans to kill Isa alayhi salam, right? They wanted to get him killed. They weren't able to do so. In fact, Isa alayhi salam was uplifted to Allah. Yahya was killed, right? Yahya was killed, and he was killed zulman, out of injustice, right? And so the Prophet ﷺ is also being shown a glimpse that, hey, now the next phase of your life, not only are you going to be out of Mecca like Adam was out of Jannah, but now the next phase is what? You're going to be dealing with a different group of people, not just the polytheists. You're also going to be dealing with the Yahud, the Jews in Medina. And so there's a reason why the Prophet, it's not just random. It's not like, oh, Assalamu alaikum, what's up? Next level, Assalamu alaikum, what's up? It's not like that. There's a reason the Prophet is being prepared for everything, right? The Prophet ﷺ migrated to Medina, and in Medina, they tried to also kill him. Banu Nadir tried to plan to kill the Prophet ﷺ by throwing a stone over his head, right? And so just like they tried to kill Isa alayhi salam, right? And in the same exact way, Isa alayhi salam was warned, and the Prophet ﷺ was also warned by Jibreel, right? So there's a lot of different things that come together. Now, the Prophet ﷺ, we know that he was very, very prone to being optimistic. He loved being optimistic. كَانَ يُحِبُّ الْفَأْلَ الْحَسَنِ. He used to love being optimistic. لَا عَدْوَ وَلَا طِيَرَ. No superstitions, right? We don't believe in superstitions. إِنَّمَا يُعْجِبُنِي الْفَأْلُ الْحَسَنِ. That positivity, optimism makes me happy, makes me feel good, right? The Prophet ﷺ actually changed over 70 names of different companions because their names had a pessimistic element to it, a bad element to it, right? A woman whose name was Asiya, which means sinner, the Prophet ﷺ changed it to Jamila, beautiful. A man whose name was Harb, right, war. The Prophet ﷺ, he was asking who's going to milk the animal, and this guy said his name was Harb, I'm going to do it. And the Prophet ﷺ, but not you. Your name is war, right? Your name isn't optimistic enough for me, right? So the Prophet ﷺ was optimistic. So in the same exact way, whenever something good would happen in his life, or even something bad might happen in his life, the Prophet ﷺ always looked to the brighter side of things. He always looked to the silver lining of things, always looked for meaning behind things. And in the same exact way, as he's going to these levels, and he's realizing, oh, Adam, this happened to Adam, it's going to happen to me, but there's a silver lining. This happened to Isa, but there's a silver lining. This happened to Yahya, but there's a silver lining. The Prophet ﷺ did all of this. And the scholars of dream interpretation, they say, مَنْ رَأَى نَبِيًّا فِي الْمَنَامِ فَفِي ذَلِكَ إِشَارَةً إِلَىٰ أَنَّهُ سَيُبْتَلْ أَوْ يُنْعَمْ بِمَا شَابَهَ حَالُ ذَلِكَ النَّبِيِّ. The scholars, they say, of dream interpretation, that when a person sees a prophet in a dream, that is an indication that you will go through something similar like that prophet in terms of trial or in terms of blessing, right? And so whoever sees Ayub might be tried by losing health, might be tried by losing children, right? But eventually a good time will come. Whoever sees Isa might get oppressed by the people around him, but eventually Allah will save him at the end, right? And so in the same exact way, the Prophet ﷺ is not just seeing it in a dream, he's actually seeing them, right? So he's gaining an understanding that you will go through their good times and their bad times as well. And so now the Prophet ﷺ, we get to sort of the second level, right? And again, like I said, these wisdoms that we extracted, all of this stuff, this is, you cannot do jazm on it. You cannot say that this is the reason and this is the wisdom and this is how it is. These are all, again, interpretations that the scholars sort of extract and fawaid that they extract. One thing that I missed is that the Prophet ﷺ sees a bunch of things also in this level. In Sama' ad-Dunya, he says a lot of different things. What are the things that the Prophet ﷺ sees? So just like in Al-Isra, the Prophet ﷺ saw 13 different things that were shown to him, right? For example, the punishment of those that eat usury, the punishment of those that, like for example, the punishment of the Pharaoh, right? All of these different things the Prophet ﷺ saw, the jinn that was chasing him, all of these things, the Dajjal. There are also things that the Prophet ﷺ saw at this level. Again, this is not Jannah, right? So don't confuse the 7 heavens with Jannah. These are the 7 levels, celestial realms. So what are the things that the Prophet ﷺ saw? So the first hadith is narrated by Abi Sa'id al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu, in which he said that the Prophet ﷺ said, لَمَّا دَخَلْتُ السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا رَأَيْتُ رِجَالٍ لَهُمْ مَشَافِرٌ كَمَشَافِرِ الْإِبْلِ. Right? That the Prophet ﷺ, he says that when I entered this first level, I saw a group of people, men, right, or people that had mashafir. Mashafir, كَمَشَافِرِ الْإِبْلِ, are like lips as big as camels, right? So how big is a camel's lips? Very, very big, right? Nice big lips. فِي أَيْدِيهِمْ قِطَعٌ مِّن نَارٍ كَالْأَفْهَارِ يَقْفِذُونَهَا فِي أَفْوَاهِهِمْ. That they would, in their hands would be pieces of fire, stone that was made out of fire, right? كَالْأَفْهَارِ. Afhar refers to such a big stone in their hand that it completely fills up their hand. What would they do? يَقْفِذُونَهُ فِي أَفْوَاهِهِمْ. That they would put it in their mouths. And that stone would go through their system and come out their backside. I'm just telling you what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. فَقُلْتُ مَنْ هَؤُلَاءِ يَا جِبْرِيلُ. Who are these people that are going through this kind of punishment in this level? And to this Jibreel says, هَؤُلَاء آكَلَةُ أَمْوَالِ الْيَتَامَى ظُلْمًا. That these are the people that eat the wealth of the orphans out of wrongdoing. Can a person that's in charge of an orphan spend from the wealth of an orphan? Yes, they can. But with certain rules, certain limits in place, and for the benefit of the orphan. But if you're just eating it out of dhulm, like you just feel like eating, like let's say, your brother or sister passed away or something like that, and now you have to take care of their kid, they leave you a certain amount of money, that money is supposed to be spent on the kid. You're not supposed to start using it to go take vacations or something like that. That's the types of people that will get this punishment, right? And so this is one thing that the Prophet ﷺ sees. The second thing that the Prophet ﷺ sees, he says, ثُمَّ رَأَيْتُ نِسَاءً مُعَلَّقَاتٍ بِثَدْيِهِنَّ فَقُلْتُ مَنْ هَؤُلَاءِ يَا جِبْرِيلُ. That he said that I saw women that were hanging by their chest area. Right? They were hanged by their chest area. And I said, Oh Jibreel, who are these women? And Jibreel said, هَؤُلَاءِ اللَّاتِي أَدْخَلْنَ عَلَى الرِّجَالِ مَنْ لَيْسَ مِنْ أَوْلَادِهِمْ. These are the women that ascribed children to men that were not the fathers of these children. Meaning that these women cheated, or these women sort of slept around and then they came to a random man and said, hey, this is your kid. When in reality, that kid doesn't belong to that man, right? And so this is the second thing that the Prophet ﷺ saw. And the third thing is حال المغتابين. This is narrated in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad as well as the Sunan of Abi Dawood. And it's on the condition of Imam Muslim. That Anas ibn Malik, he says that the Prophet ﷺ said, لَمَّا عَرَجَ بِي رَبِّي مَرَرْتُ بِقَوْمٍ لَهُمْ أَظْفَارٌ مِّن نُحَاسٍ. That when I was taken up for Mi'raj, I passed by a group of people whose nails were very long and made out of copper. يَخْمِشُونَ وُجُوهَهُمْ وَصُدُورَهُمْ. That they would be scratching off their faces and their chests. And I said, who are these people, O Jibreel? And Jibreel said, هَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ لُحُومَ النَّاسِ. These are the people that eat the flesh of other people. وَيَقَعُونَ فِي أَعْرَاضِهِمْ, that they sort of attack the honor of other people. Who is being talked about? None other than the backbiters, right? And we all know what is backbiting. The companions were asked by the Prophet ﷺ, أَتَدْرُونَ مَا الْغِيبَةِ, do you know what backbiting is? The companions, they said, oh Allah, only Allah and His Messenger know best. To this the Prophet ﷺ, he said, ذِكْرُ أَخَاكَ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ, it is mentioning your brother it is mentioning your brother in mentioning about your brother something that which they dislike. Now, the next thing is halu zuna. Then there's a few more things that the Prophet ﷺ sees. The next thing is that the Prophet ﷺ, he says, ثُمَّ رَأَيْتُ رِجَالًا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيهِمْ لَحْمٌ سَمِينٌ طَيِّبٌ إِلَى جَنْبِهِ لَحْمٌ غَثٌّ مُنْتِنٌ فَيَأْكُلُونَ مِنْ الْغَثِّ الْمُنْتِنِ وَيَتْرُكُونَ السَّمِينَ. That the Prophet ﷺ says that I passed by a group of men, and generally it could also be, for women as well, that these men, they have meat in front of them, nice chunky good quality meat, right? And on their side they have meat that is ghathun refers to like low quality, right? Muntinun, right? Something that has a bad odor to it. And so now when you have good meat and bad meat in front of you, which one are you going to eat? You're going to want to eat the good meat. But what are these men doing? They're eating the low quality, the thing that smells, and they're leaving the nice fat rich meat away. And the Prophet ﷺ, he says that who are these people, O Jibreel? And to this Jibreel, he says, هَؤُلَاءِ الَّذِينَ يَتْرُكُونَ مَا أَحَلَّ اللَّهُ لَهُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ وَيَذْهَبُونَ إِلَى مَا حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِم مِّنْهُنَّ. That these are the men that they leave that which is halal for them in terms of women, right, getting married, and they go towards that which is haram for them. Meaning these are the adulterers, right? They're married, they have spouses that are there for them, men and women on both sides, right? But yet they choose to go and spend time with people outside of that halal relationship, right? So this is the fourth thing. And I believe this is the last thing that the Prophet ﷺ sees on this level, is that he says, ثُمَّ رَأَيْتُ رِجَالًا لَهُمْ بُطُونٌ لَمْ أَرَى مِثْلَهَا قَطْ. And you can see ثُمَّ رَأَيْتُ, then I saw, right? So all of these things are being shown to the Prophet ﷺ. And as the Prophet ﷺ is seeing these things, this is what makes his da'wah so effective later when he goes on earth, right? Because he's able to show people the gravity of what these sins do, right? Cheating on your spouse, backbiting other people. These are not small things. They destroy families, they destroy communities, they destroy societies. And so we shouldn't just look at these are random punishments. No, these are things that the Prophet ﷺ is being shown that if you want to build a society, you're only going to be able to build a society when you're able to clean these actions up from the people. So the Prophet ﷺ says, then I saw men, لَهُمْ بُطُونٌ لَمْ أَرَى مِثْلَهَا قَدْ, that I saw men whose bellies were so big that I had never seen bellies this big before. بُطُونُهُمْ أَمْثَالِ الْبُيُوتِ, that their stomachs were as big as houses, right? بِسَبِيلِ آلِ فِرْعَوْنَ, on the pathway of the family of Fir'aun. يَمُرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ كَالْإِبْلِ الْمَهْيُومَةِ, that they were trampled over by like thirsty camels, right? These are people that are like, they're so hungry. And when they are presented to the fire, they are crushed and they cannot move from their place. When they're too big, they cannot move. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said that who are these people that are so big? And Jibreel, he said, these are akalatul riba. These are the people that eat riba. And generally, the people that eat riba are the ones that give out the loans, and they make money off of you. They give you $100 and then they take back more than that, right? And so they get fatter and fatter, right? And so again, these are some of the punishments, and you can see all of these systematically. Riba destroys societies. In 2008, we saw the effect of that, right? The idea of adultery outside of marriage, the idea of backbiting, the idea of ascribing children to people that they don't belong to, the idea of oppressing the orphan. All of these things destroy families, they destroy societies. After all of this, then the Prophet ﷺ finally goes up to the second heaven, and the same thing happens. Jibreel takes him up, knock on the gate. Who is there? It's me, Jibreel. Who is with you? Muhammad is with me. Was he sent for? Yes, he was sent for. And at this, the angel said, Ni'mal maji'u ja. What a great person has come. What a great comer has come. And so the door is open for the Prophet ﷺ, and he himself says, فَفُتِحَ لَنَا, the door was made open for us. فَإِذَا أَنَا بِإِبْنَيْ الْخَالَ يَحْيَى ibn Zakariya wa Isa ibn Maryam alayhim as-salam, that I saw two people. I saw Yahya and Isa. And by the way, Yahya and Isa, according to historians, are actually related. How are they related? They say, Allahu A'lam, that Maryam's sister is Yahya's mother. Right? Again, they're related. If you don't believe in that theory, then just know that there's two righteous families, the family of Zakaria and the family of Imran at that time, and these were very close families. But a lot of the scholars, they say that the reason why the word bi ibnay al-khala, like the khala is used like aunt, right? Isa alayhi salam's aunt is being sort of mentioned over here is to show that they're related, that they're actually cousins. And so Jibreel says that's Yahya and that's Isa. فَسَلِّمْ عَلَيْهِمَا, say salam to them. The Prophet says Assalamu alaikum. They respond and they say Marhaban bil akh salih, welcome our righteous brother, no longer son, right? Because they're in the same station. وَالنَّبِيِّ الصَّالِحِ, and righteous prophet. وَدَعَ وَالِي بِالْخَيْرِ, and then they made dua for goodness for me. Now, this is the only level, by the way, where we're going to see two prophets together. All the other levels is one, right? Now, why two prophets in this level? Remember, I told you that they're related. And if they're not related, they're at least close family friends, right? They grew up together, you could say, right? And so the presence of Yahya is actually there in order to honor Isa. And Isa is there in order to honor who? The Prophet ﷺ, right? And so Yahya is there because why? He's related to him. He's his cousin, right? You want to be with your cousins. You want to be with your family, right? And again, Isa alayhi salam was taken from this earth, right? And so he's being given a chance to be with his cousin, even if it's temporary, based off of the theories that we gave before, right? So now, one thing to understand is that actually the most described prophet is actually the Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Right? No prophet's description is given as much by our Prophet like Isa alayhi salam's description. Now, if you look at the narration, one of the narrations in which the Prophet describes Isa in this journey, it comes in Sahih al-Bukhari. The Prophet does not mention Yahya. He only mentions Isa. Why does he not mention Yahya? Was Yahya not there? Yahya was there. But why does he only mention Isa? Because the priority was meeting with Isa. Right? And Yahya was simply there because he was there in order to be there for Isa. And Isa was there to meet the Prophet ﷺ. And so the Prophet ﷺ, he says, وَلَقِيتُ Isa alayhi salam, that I met Isa alayhi salam, رَبْعَةُ أَحْمَرُ, that he was, Rab'a mean he was not super tall, nor was he super short. He was right in the middle. And by the way, that's the same exact description of the Prophet. He was neither super tall nor super short. He was right in the middle. And the scholars of Dala'il al-Nubuwah, they say that when the Prophet ﷺ stood next to somebody who was taller than him, he would actually look taller than that person. And again, this is a miracle from Allah, right? So the Prophet ﷺ was medium stature, Isa was medium stature, but one of the miracles of the Prophet was that he would look taller than tall people, right? When he was around them, of course. Ahmar, meaning he had very clean and pure skin, right? He was nice and clean. كَأَنَّهُ أُخْرِجَ مِنْ دِمَاسٍ, it is as if he just came out of the dimas. Dimas refers to the shower or the bath, right? So very clean and very pure and very pristine, right? And the Prophet ﷺ said like the hair that would fall or the water that would fall from his hair, they would look like pearls. And by the way, that's a very similar description to how he's going to look at the end of times when he comes back. We asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to cover that one day as well. Then the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in Sahih Muslim, he says that وَرَأَيْتُ عِيسَى ibn Maryam alayhi salam فَإِذَا أَقْرَبَ مِنْ رَأَيْتُ بِهَا شَبَحًا عُرْوَةُ بْنِ مَسْعُودٍ, that one of my companions looked very close to Isa, and that companion is Urwa ibn Mas'ud. Who is Urwa ibn Mas'ud? Inshallah we'll also cover that in the future as well. But he's a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, what is the point of meeting Isa? Like we mentioned, again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is now going to go to Medina. in Medina is going to face the people of the book, just like Isa faced the people of the book, and there's going to be a back and forth between the Yahud and Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, just like there was a back and forth between Isa and the Yahud. And ultimately, who wins out? Isa wins out. Ultimately, who's going to win out? Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is going to win out against them. And so this is sort of what the Prophet ﷺ saw on the first level, second level, with a lot of different wisdoms attached to it. Inshallah, next week we'll do the third and possibly the fourth level, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. We should make an attempt to invite other people to come to the seerah, as well as inviting our children, inshallah, as well. It's only 35-40 minutes of their time, inshallah. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك.